Friends, it is coming now, $3,334, and many Americans may be able to receive over $3,000 in extra financial assistance. Billions of dollars in unused crisis relief funds are now being put towards new stimulus package. This includes relief for low-income households, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and RRB recipients. So friends, please make sure you watch until the end of this video for all of the new information. And to say thank you for joining me here every day, I'm giving away 4 $75 Walmart gift cards every week. Please enter the giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos and commenting below the keyword of each video that you watch. Also friends, in the months of October, November, and December, I will be giving away surprise $200 gift cards to those of you that have been in this community for several months. I know right now may be a very difficult time for millions of Americans, and I'm committed to supporting all of you as much as possible.
And I quote, "Inflation isn't just about fuel costs anymore as price increases broaden across the economy," end quote. But of course, you don't have to take my word for it about the mess that we're in. Here's what one of President Obama's top economic advisors had to say last week after August inflation numbers came out. Again, I quote, "Today's CPI report confirms that the U.S. has a serious inflation problem. Core inflation is higher this month than for the quarter, higher this quarter than last quarter, higher this half of the year than the previous one, and higher last year than the previous one," end quote. Let's put this in perspective. That's what President Biden had to say. Mr. President, here's the American people's perspective. 57% of Americans disapprove of President Biden's handling of the economy. And 37% of voters say that President Biden's policies have hurt them personally versus just 15% of voters who say his policies have helped them. And these numbers are no surprise. The president may somehow still believe that he's creating an economy that will, quote, work for working families, but the reality is that in the Biden economy, working Americans are suffering. Americans' utility bills are soaring. Their grocery bills have ballooned.
So here is some exciting news, friends. More than a dozen states approved a new form of relief packages for their residents this year in the face of record high inflation. In addition to rebates and stimulus checks, certain states have chosen to provide relief by expanding tax credits. In other states, massive budget surpluses automatically triggered tax refunds for residents. This fall, there are several states that will start or continue with the distribution of relief funds. Healthcare workers in Minnesota are set to receive hundreds of dollars in what is being called Hero Pay that will begin being distributed this week and continue through the fall. More than 1 million frontline workers are set to receive payments of $487 beginning this Wednesday under a new initiative approved by Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. The payments were authorized through the Frontline Worker Pay Bill that allocated $500 million for equal payments to all eligible applications. The payments were authorized through the Frontline Worker Pay Bill that allocated $500 million for equal payments to eligible applicants, which Governor Walz had signed earlier this year. Governor Walz said this week, "I am grateful for the work that Minnesotans did to help people across our state stay healthy and safe through the crisis. Frontline workers are an important part of the fabric of our state and helped us continue functioning during the crisis." For those who are eligible for the Hero Pay, the payments will come either via direct deposit within 7 to 10 business days or as a prepaid debit card that is set to arrive in 3 to 4 weeks. According to officials, more than 1 million healthcare workers applied for the Hero Pay over the summer, which far surpassed officials' estimates of 667,000 people. Minnesota's Moorhead City Council also voted to extend the city's property tax rebate program for another 2 years. The vote to extend the vital program, which lapses every 2 years, was unanimous and now runs through December 2024. It enables homeowners with a newly constructed home to not be required to pay property taxes for 2 years once construction is finalized. Those qualifying do not need to do anything specific to apply. That means homeowners could get as much as $3,334 in rebate. Now, friends, President Biden recently made a big decision. He decided to scale back eligibility for his student loan forgiveness plan. But this came as a shock to some Democratic lawmakers. Last week, Biden's Education Department released updated guidance on the federal borrowers who are eligible for up to $20,000 in debt cancellation, and concluded that those with loans under the Federal Family Education Loan Program cannot access the one-time relief. Until that point, the department said it was assessing whether the borrowers within that program who had privately held debt, guaranteed by the department, could receive federal relief. It ultimately decided they would not be eligible, impacting nearly 800,000 borrowers. Some Democratic lawmakers were not aware of this change beforehand and were very disappointed by the news. The change was likely a response to the growing number of lawsuits on President Biden's debt relief plan. Over the past week, Republican-led states have pursued legal action against the loan forgiveness and taking federal family education loan borrowers out of the equation. It was an effort to avert those legal battles and reduce cost of the plan. During a press briefing, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre said, "Our goal from day one has always been to deliver relief to as many borrowers as quickly as possible. And this change helps us achieve that. So we will continue to make sure we zero in on that. For now, all other federal student loan borrowers can expect an application for student loan forgiveness to become available early this month." The department affirmed the application will be short and simple, but the exact details on what information that borrowers will have to submit have not yet been released. Friends, the keyword for this video is Cumberland Falls. If you would like to enter tomorrow's Walmart gift card giveaway, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below this keyword, which is Cumberland Falls, and additional keywords of any video of mine that you watch. And do make sure, friends, that you are subscribed to my channel. Well, my marvelous and magnificent friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video. Thank you so much for joining me here every day when I post a video. Also, friends, remember, in the months of October, November, and December, I will be giving away surprise $200 gift cards to those of you that have been in this community for several months now. This is just a reminder to enter the keywords in the comment section below. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and blessed week.
Paying $1.30 more per gallon every time they fill up their car than they were when President Biden was elected. Real wages have dropped every single month since Democrats passed their $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan spending spree, the bill, I would add, that helped plunge our economy into our current inflation crisis. And 40% of Americans report having difficulty paying for their normal household expenses. Americans are dipping into their savings or working side jobs to make ends meet. They're charging more day-to-day expenses on their credit cards. And in too many cases, they're having to visit food banks, which are seeing huge lines thanks to continued high inflation. And what are Democrats and the president doing about this? Nothing. Of course, last month, Democrats did pass a bill they called the Inflation Reduction Act. The problem? The bill will do nothing to reduce inflation. Nothing. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. The nonpartisan Penn-Wharton budget model said that this about the bill's impact on inflation. And again, I quote, "The impact on inflation is statistically indistinguishable from zero." Statistically indistinguishable from zero. Or you could take the word of the Democrat chairman of the Budget Committee, who admitted right here on the Senate floor that the so-called Inflation Reduction Act would not reduce inflation. But it's not just that Democrats have done nothing to help solve our inflation crisis. They're also on track to make Americans' economic situation significantly worse. In August, President Biden announced a massive student loan giveaway that could cost anywhere from an estimated $500 billion to more than $1 trillion. And that from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget notes, and I quote, meaningfully boost inflation. This is the statement from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget talking about the President's massive student loan giveaway, and they say it will, quote, meaningfully boost inflation. Or as the President of the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget recently put it, amid 40-year, and I quote again, amid 40-year high inflation, and despite the administration constantly touting its fiscal responsibility, these changes will recklessly add to the debt and make the Federal Reserve's job in fighting inflation even harder, which will amplify our risk of entering a recession,